Alrighty, welcome back to another no-code/low-code tutorial. Today we're building a simple AI-powered image enhancer app using FlutterFlow here for the front end, BuildShip for the back end workflow logic. We'll be using Supabase for the storage, and then we'll be using Replicate for the AI model. And in particular, we'll be using this model from Phil. So this, as you can see here, is a free Magnific alternative. So shout out to him for open sourcing this. Make sure to kind of check out his Twitter and his web app here as well. And also as part of this, you can see here, this is the model running on Replicate. There's a little before and after widget thing here. So that widget isn't natively available on FlutterFlow. So we'll be using this before and after Flutter package here. So all these links will be in the YouTube description, but also I have a Notion page, which I'll link below as well with any links relevant to the tutorial, but also any code that we'll be using in the tutorial as well. So this is the code for the custom widget in FlutterFlow. And then we've got kind of the input, some code that we're using on BuildShip as well. So this is from the replicate node, which we will run through, and just also the return node, just what we're putting in there, just so that we're on the same page. Before we dive into actually setting it all up, we'll come back to this app. This is what the app looks like, but we'll refresh and we'll just give it a test run. And we'll see it all through. So we did a birdie for the first one, but maybe this one we'll do a sunflower. Little sunflower. So what's happening is it's loading up into Supabase, and then we'll get the URL from that image and then kind of displaying that on the image widget. So this is the uploaded image. We've got a prompt field here where we can add extra information if we want. We could say sunflower, or we could leave it blank. We have a creativity slider. So this just tells the AI model how creative we want the enhanced image to be. We'll just keep it average. The second one here is a resemblance slider. The higher the slider, the more the enhanced image will resemble the original uploaded image. So we'll go somewhere in the middle. We'll click enhance. We'll wait for it to run just so you get an idea of how long it takes. Should take about 15 seconds or so. This simple app, I should probably have some sort of a loading element on this main screen as opposed to being on the side, but it is what it is for now. This is just a simple demo. And then we have this custom widget displaying. We have the before and after here, and then these little before and after tags stacked on top of the widget. We also have a light mode and a dark mode functionality. Sign out, there's no sign out because we don't have authentication set up. Probably do something, we'll do a continuation of this app with more tools and probably set up authentication as well. So this actually will sign you out. Okay, so that's the app. We'll step in how it all is set up. So we'll start with FlutterFlow, so the front end builder. Come to the widget tree here on the side. There's only one page, and on this page we have a row, and that row includes two main containers. So we'll have a main container here for the content, and then we have a sidebar container. So we'll start with the sidebar container first. I'm not going to step through how to set up all the visual aspects because that will just take too long. But how I set up the sidebar to get started, I'll show you that. So if you come to this little create a new thing here, you come to flows. There's a flow here at the bottom called web app template. I'm not going to click it, but you can see there's a little sidebar that they've already built. And within that, they have the kind of necessary actions and logic already set up within that flow. So what I did was I just created that, clicked on that flow, used that as a template. That sidebar was a component. So I just took out all the container within that component and just kind of took that out and added it to a page and deleted everything else. So that's how I got started with this. Okay, we're stepping through. So sidebar container. So we'll go from the top down, and again, we're just going to go through stepping through the widgets where there's some kind of special stuff happening, whether there's some action, some logic, some conditional visibility, these sorts of things. The first one here is a upload image button. So this is a button, and there's an action flow. So if we go to the action flow, open up the editor, we've got 4 nodes here. So we've got to upload media to Supabase, and then we're updating 3 different page states. What we will do first is we need to connect FlutterFlow with Supabase. We'll come back to Supabase. We'll come back to the settings, of FlutterFlow. And if you come down to integration, Supabase, you have this. So we'll need the API URL from our Supabase account and our API key. So come to your Supabase, come down to project settings, come down to API. You want to copy this project URL. Come back here, paste that here, and then come down here, copy your API key, and then paste that there. And then once you've done that, click Get Schema, that will load up. You should see some of your tables that are linked to that particular Supabase project displayed here. I only have one Supabase table. And once you've done that, now you'll have access to more functionality within the action flow editor. So if we come back to here, the first node is a upload media to Supabase. So now you should have the Supabase functionality option enabled. Come down here. The bucket name is just the name of your. So if you come to Supabase, the storage, this is just the name of the bucket. So I've just got one bucket at the moment called YouTube. So you literally just type that in there, YouTube. And then the next option here that you need to fill in is the folder name. So on here, if you click on YouTube, I've got 3 different folders. So for this, I'm just going to do image. So I type in image. And the media source would be just from either the camera or the gallery. So this is just from your device, either your computer gallery or your camera gallery. Allow photos, all this is standard. And I've just left the name, whatever the default was. You come down here, we're updating page state. So sorry, I probably have to show you the page states that we have set up here. So if you come to the very top homepage, there are 3 local page state variables that I have set up. So first one is an image uploaded, and that's a Boolean. So that's pretty much just saying, is the image uploaded? Yes, no. And depending on that, that will influence the conditional visibility of these items in the main container. The second one is a generation complete. Again, it's a Boolean. Is it complete? Yes or no, true or false? And this will provide the information needed to control some of the conditional visibility of this as well. So when the generation is complete, it will show the before and after slider. And when the image is uploaded, it will display this. If there is no image uploaded and there is no generation complete, then it will show this first one. And then the last one is the uploaded image path. So when we upload the image to Supabase, we are storing that particular URL as a page state variable called uploaded image. Okay, so I should have said that first, but we've got that sorted now. So those are the page state variables. So we're coming back to the button, coming back to the action flow. So the first update page state is we're updating the generation complete. So the generation complete is the generation of the AI model enhanced image. So this one we're just setting to false. The second one is we're updating the uploaded image page state. So this one we are setting the value, and this value is coming from the widget state of the uploaded file URL 1. So that widget state is this. So when we click on that button and we upload that image, that URL will be associated with that widget state. And we're just grabbing that widget state and then adding that widget state to setting the value of that widget state to the uploaded image path page state. So that's where that's coming from. And then the last one is the image uploaded Boolean. So by default, the image uploaded is set to false, but because this whole button is uploading an image to Supabase, that image uploaded is now true. So we can change that here. And that's the end of this action flow editor. So as you can see, there's actually two different upload image buttons. There is no drag and drop functionality for this. I'll probably do a continuation tutorial where I'll add kind of extra features and tools and whatnot. But for the moment, there's no drag and drop functionality. You have to upload the image by pressing the button. But I've got two different buttons here. So this upload image button here is pretty much the same. You got upload media to Supabase, generation completes, again, false. A slight difference for this one. So the uploaded image page state image path was in the previous button, we were setting that value from the widget state from uploaded file URL, whereas in this one, because this is a different widget, and this widget is uploaded file URL 2. So different widgets, but they're both feeding the same page state variable, which is the uploaded image page state variable. So that's that one. And the final one is the same, image uploaded set to true. Okay, so that's the button. We have a text field here. This text field, there's nothing fancy here other than what the user types in this text field will be passed through to the API, but that is happening here. So these are just kind of fields that will collect information which will eventually get passed into the APIs. This one here is there's some kind of tweaking that we need to do here. So this again is just we're passing through the information from the user that uses a slider, so from the widget state. But when we add the slider, we need to consider the maximum and minimum values. So if you come to the model, for these here, so that's, let's say, the creativity slider and resemblance slider. We've got creativity here. So the default is 0.35. Resemblance, the default is 0.6. But there is a min and a max, and you get that information here. Actually, I don't know if there's, oh yeah, we've got the min and max here. So the creativity, min is 0, max is 1. Resemblance is 0, max is 3. So for these widgets, I actually haven't maxed them out. And I did that just to keep the image a bit more consistent. So for this one, the creativity, that could be up to 1, whereas I've just got it to 0.4, and it could go down to 0. So just consider the minimum and maximum numbers or values. You get that from Replicate. They should indicate if there's any minimums or maximums. So doing the same for the resemblance slider. Now coming down, this is where we've got a little bit of action happening. So we've got a button, enhance image, and there's an action flow associated with it. This action flow we have making an API call. And maybe before I do this, I'll set up the API call, because I think we probably need to do that first. So we'll do that, actually. Okay, so there's just one API call. If you've watched some of my previous videos, there's actually, if you do the API call directly from FlutterFlow and connecting to Replicate, you have to do two API calls. You have to do a post API call and then a get API call. But by doing it with BuildShip, you just have to do one. So in this, we have a post request. We've named it BuildShip because we'll be connecting to BuildShip. And we have API URL. Then within here, we have some variables. And then we have a body. So what we'll do is we'll have to head over to BuildShip now. We'll set up the API information there. We'll test it out on BuildShip. And then once it's working on BuildShip, then we'll connect BuildShip to FlutterFlow. So BuildShip, we come here, we've got the workflow, and this is the workflow relevant to this. Simple, there's just the trigger node here, which is a REST API call. There's a replicate client node, and then there's a return node, and that's all there is. So the REST API call, if we come to edit, first you need to give it a name. We'll click post. But if you come to edit, you'll see that in the body, we are passing through some information from FlutterFlow. And within the body, we're going to be passing through a string with the key image, and there'll be a string. We'll be doing another one here called resemblance, and the type of this is any. Creativity type is any. Could probably do number, but I just did any. I haven't actually tried it with number, but that probably would make sense. And prompt is a string. So these are 4 different parameters that we'll be passing through from FlutterFlow, but we're just setting this up in BuildShip so that we can be more specific with the information and where we're getting that information from. So that's the first little change that we do. So we just adjust the trigger body fields. After that, you come down to the replicate nodes. So all you'd need to do is come to add node, click replicate, and then there's a few different options here, but we'd click on the client one. So when you click on the client, it gives you this field. First field is the API key. So within BuildShip, they do all the API secret management for you. So once you have your API key, which you'd need to get from your replicate account, if you go to your account, API tokens, just copy that. Come to BuildShip, you add a secret, name your secret. So I've named my replicate new, and then you paste in that value, and that's stored securely within BuildShip. So that's first step, paste in your replicate API key here. Second step is to add the model. So this information, if you come here, go back to the model, you go to Node.js, this is the model name here. So we just need to copy that. So what I normally do is I just click at the start and then hold shift and click at the end, copy that, come over to BuildShip, click on the edit and just paste that in. Paste that in there. Oops, what's happening there? Let's just double check. Oh, it should be the whole thing. Ending in B79. Must be an updated version. 137. Clarity Upscaler. Okay, so that must be an updated one maybe. Anyways, I'll just keep it as is, but that's where you would get that information from. So you'd go there, copy that in there. Make sure I get that properly. Come in here and paste that in there. What I'll do is, and what I have done actually, is this particular model that I've actually used. So they must have maybe changed it slightly or something. I'm not too sure. But what I used exactly, I've included on my little Notion page. So either way, you can try with both. That's the next step. And then the next one after you have the model information is to get the input information. So you get that from here. Again, the Node.js, come down to the inputs, click just before that little kind of bracket thing, hold shift, and then click just after it. You'd copy all of that. And you would come to here, make sure it's on the JavaScript setting, paste it. This might look slightly different because I'm adding these different variables in here. So the one that I've just copied from here, for example, the image is hard-coded, the creativity value is hard-coded, the resemblance is hard-coded. Whereas in my one, I'm passing through that information dynamically as a variable. So for the image, we're getting that from the body of the API call request. So I've already done it, but just to show you how it works, and this is why we set up we edit the body and image resemblance thing here, because once that's all set up, when you come down here and you click variables, you have this information available to you here. So you go to body, and the ones that we have set up, you can click them here. So for this one, we want to do the image. So click where you'd want it to be, requests, body, image. And then it'll come in there. I already got it, so I'm going to delete it, but we'll just step through. The next one is the prompt variable. The formatting looks slightly different because it is included as part of a string. So the prompt on the model, they already give you a prompt here, which has some good kind of information here, masterpiece, best quality, high res, etc. So instead of I want to keep that, but I want to add to that prompt if I want to. So what I do is, and that extra information will be included here. So whatever is typed into this prompt, this text field here, that's part of the prompt, that would just get added to the end of this string. So in this one here, if we come here, we'd go to variables, request, body, and then prompt. And that's what we would do. We'd just delete that. Oops. But we already got it in there. So we'll delete it. And then coming down, creativity, same thing. You go to requests, body, creativity, and then the same for resemblance. And that's everything. And the rest of the input would stay the same, just as its default hard-coded values. And that's everything with the replicate node. And then after that, the last one we want to do is just the return node. And this is just returning the value, the output file from the replicate client. So for this, all we need to do is come here, go to variables, go to replicate client, and you can either do the object or just the string of the output. So I'll do it as an object. So just click replicate client. You could do it that as well, but I like working at that object level. So you just click that, and then that's everything you need. So what we can do, we need to ship it. It's already kind of shipped. And what you can do is when you set this up for the first time, you can test it out before you try and integrate it with FlutterFlow, just to see if this whole process is working, this workflow. So what we'll do is the test, and within here we will do the body. So we'll do the what are they again? Image. And we'll just use these. So I'm a bit of a noob. I'm still a bit of a noob. What's the next one? We want to do the prompt. So we don't need to do all of it. We just want to do, we can actually leave this one blank actually. Prompt is, we'll just leave that as empty string. The next one is creativity. This one is going to be, we'll just leave it as the hard, do this one as 0.35. And then we'll do resemblance. We'll do it at the default value of 0.6. And then that should be everything. I think the image, the prompt was just an empty string, but we can add stuff to it. And the image that they should be the birdie one as well. Okay, so this is the information that we would be passing through from FlutterFlow, but for testing purposes, we'll just test it out first on BuildShip just to see if it works. Test workflow. Okay, so we're running the replicate client. So hopefully those variables information is being passed through to their input field. And this is the output. So let's just test this out. Copy this, go to upload and open a new window. Yeah, that's the enhanced version. You can see there, that's the original one, and that's the enhanced one. So it works. So now that we know that the workflow works, all we need to do is set up FlutterFlow so that we can pass through the information that we need to pass through. So we'll copy the endpoint URL, which will trigger this workflow. We'll come back to FlutterFlow. We'll paste that in here, which I've already done. And now the variables, we need to set this up. So this is, again, the stuff that we're going to be passing through to BuildShip. I had a dynamic one set up earlier, but I'm not using that anymore, so I can just delete that actually. Okay, so we have the image. The image is a path type, and the list is false. The next one we're going to do is resemblance. This has got to be double false, and we'll put in a default value for these. So this one is just the same default values as is shown on replicate, so 0.6. Creativity is a double, is list false, 0.35 as the default value. The prompt is a string, list false, and if you come to body, this looks similar to what was just shown on BuildShip, but this for the image and prompt on BuildShip, we've hard-coded the body here. So instead of hard-coding it, we're dynamically got to be passing through this information from the FlutterFlow UI when the user interacts with it. So this is what it looks like. Image, you can see it, dynamic. We can delete that now because we've already deleted it already. We can format it, save it. Okay, body JSON, the headers, there's no headers, so that's fine. And again, you can test this out within FlutterFlow. So we'll test it out. We'll test API call. We added an image. I think that's the same test image. So we'll test the API call. We want to do, when you set this up for the first time, we want to do this anyway so that we can define these JSON paths. So once this finishes, you'll see what I mean. So we'll just wait. Hopefully it doesn't take too much longer. Done. Okay. And because I haven't added any values here, it will just include whatever the default is. Okay, so the final thing here, we've delivered returned the output file. And if you come here, normally you would see it down here, but because I've already added this path, it doesn't show up. But normally in this section here, it has a bunch of recommended paths based on what is returned in this section here. There is only one object. So because there's only one object, there's only, I guess, one path to select and save. So I've saved this path, this path here, and named it output. And that just allows me to easily reference it in FlutterFlow. Okay, so that's done. So we'll head back to the UI builder, back to this button, open this up again, and this hopefully should make more sense. So the first node is a backend call. In the backend call, we've only got one API set up. So the backend call is a API call. And we only have one API call set up, which we've named BuildShip. So that's that. There are 4 different variables. So the first one is the image. And we are getting this information from the page state called uploaded image. So we click on this, come to the page state, uploaded image. And remember, the uploaded image will be fed from either the widget state from this button or this button. So the URL that gets uploaded as part of the image going to Supabase, they will both update the image uploaded page state. Yep, so that's what this one is. So this variable we're going to be passing through from the page state uploaded image path. Second one is the resemblance. So this has got to be from the slider. So this one here, we come to the widget state and we're going to the resemblance slider. So that's whatever is the value on this resemblance slider is going to be passed through as the resemblance variable. Next one is the creativity one. Same thing. This is coming from the widget state from the creativity slider. And then the last one is the prompt. Again, this is the widget state. This is coming from the prompt text field, which is just whatever is typed in here will get added to the prompt variable as part of the API call. So that's everything. We've named this BuildShip. This conditional action is just kind of the default one, which is as this API call, as this succeeded. And you can kind of see that from, if you were to do this manually, action outputs, go to the BuildShip API response. And the options here is just, you could either go to the JSON body or succeeded. So that's just succeeded there. If it doesn't succeed, it goes down this path and all we're getting is an informational dialogue that says, fail. Okay, cool. If it doesn't fail, then it'll come down this path. And what we're doing is we're updating the generation complete. We're setting that value to true. And what that does is when that is set to true, then this will get displayed. But we'll go through that specific conditional visibility logic in a sec. After that, I've added this, but I actually don't think this makes a difference. I was trying to, as if you can remember when we first did the demo 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago now, there was a bit of a lag between the after image showing up. So I was just trying to play around with something that we could add in here so that it all loads at the same time. So that's what this is, but I actually don't think this is doing anything. So you can actually delete that if you want. Okay, so that's the button. We come down here, there's a few different, you can see on the side widget tree here, we've got these little icons which just show some special stuff that is happening. So we come down here, this container, there's an action flow here, and this action is actually, oh, hold up. It's at the container level. There's an action here, and this action was already part of the flow that we downloaded from the marketplace. All it is doing is setting the dark mode setting to light mode. So dark mode setting, all we're doing is setting that to light mode. And then this other container here on the other side, same thing, but you're just setting it to dark mode. And that's what that is. And then that's, I believe, all the stuff relevant kind of logic-wise on the side there. So we can hide that now. And we'll move on to the second container, which is the main container. So as mentioned, there is, in this main container, there's a column. And within the column, there are 3 other kind of main items. This one here is a container. This just shows, and we've got these little eyes here which show that there's conditional visibility. So if we come to the conditional visibility, so we click on the container, you can see that, click on it, there is two actions, multiple conditions. So you come to the conditions, there's combined conditions. So the first one is condition 1. Is the image uploaded page state variable equal to the second value, and the second value is false. So we come to, is the image uploaded page state variable, is this false? That's the first condition. The second condition is the generation complete also equal to false? So if we upload an image, if we don't upload an image and we don't have a generation complete, then this container will be displayed. So let me just double check. So image uploaded and generation complete, false. True. Okay. Yep. Yeah, it's fine. So that's the first container. There's nothing else really interesting happening there other than that conditional logic. Moving down to the second one, this is the image. This one has another two conditional thing. First condition is the image uploaded equal to true? And also, is the generation complete equal to false? So the second value. So only if those two conditions are met will this be shown. So is image uploaded true? And also, is the generation complete false? If that's true, then it will display this image widget. And the information of the image widget will be dynamic, and it'll be coming from the page state variable uploaded image. So whatever that page state variable image path is will be displayed here. And then the last one is a stack. And within the stack, if we expand that, is two kind of things. We've got this fancy blue thing, which is the custom widgets. This is the before and after. This one will, before and after, and we'll step through how to set this up. And this will kind of actually, we can do this one. Actually, we can explain both of these. So the before image, which is on this left-hand side. Actually, let's go with the logic. Okay, so the conditional logic for the stack is just one condition. Is the generation complete equal to true? If it is true, then this will be displayed. And based on these other conditional logic, these won't be displayed. So this will be displayed, that's the conditional logic. Now moving down to the custom widget, the before image and after image will be kind of passed through. The before image will be passed through from the page state uploaded image. So whatever that page state is will be displayed on the left-hand side. And then the after image, so that will be the image returned from BuildShip. And so what that is, we have as you can remember, we have set up the predefined path from that. So if we come to the main edit selection option, so you click on that, you come to this. What we want is we want to go to the action output. So the action output is just from, the response from the API call that we made. We only made one API call on this page. So and that's called BuildShip. So we'll click BuildShip. What we want to do is the JSON body. What we want to do is, you can do JSON path and just kind of type in what that path is called manually. But the easier option is just to click predefined path if you've predefined it, and we have. And that predefined path is called output. And within that output, we want to go item at index, and we want to do first. And that's the option. Now, if you come back to the API call, if you come back to BuildShip, actually, you can see I think this is an array. I'm still learning the terminology, so don't judge me. But I'm pretty sure that this means that it's an array, which implies that there could be multiple kind of values within that. So because this is an array, on FlutterFlow, when we are defining this, because it's an array, you have to identify at what point within that array are we referring to. And in this array, there's only one item in the array. So that would be the item at index, and it would be the first. So that's kind of how you pinpoint exactly what value you're wanting from that JSON response. So that's that. So we've got the before and after image, and before image and after image dynamically getting passed through from the page state variable or the JSON response. And then just briefly, as part of the stack, we've got a little row here which has just two containers with text in it. And there's just, if you click on this option here as the row, it just moves it to the side. Whatever's within that row, it just kind of moves it to the edges. And then I've just added some spacing there, some padding, sorry, to kind of bring it in a little bit. So I'm pretty sure that's all the kind of front end logic and all the UI kind of setup, all the kind of the important functional stuff. So I think now we need to do the custom widget. So this is a little bit of, yeah, man, these tutorials take longer than I was expecting. But we come here. Okay, so we want to add a custom widget for the before and after slider. So what we want to do is come to add. What you're doing is adding a widget. We delete that one. We don't want to. Discard new code. Yeah, we're just working with the existing one. I am not going to show you how to do this from scratch. I'll just step through what I did. So pretty much you start a new one. You get the kind of the boilerplate. And then what you want to do is add the dependencies. So the dependency here is this. So you want to copy that. You'd paste that in there. And then kind of what I did was, because I'm still learning how to figure all of this out, I pretty much copied in whatever the boilerplate code was. And then took a screenshot. Or actually, I think I just copied this URL, and then in ChatGPT, I just asked it to, provide this code necessary in order to get what I wanted. So there's a few changes I needed to do. For example, if you just, when I first tried to set this up, the sizing was weird. The slider was a different color. This little circle thing here was a different color. So you kind of have to, at least for me, because I'm still learning how to do this, there was some back and forth with ChatGPT. So I'm just going to share this code with you and explain, I guess, some parts of it. So this code again is on my Notion thing here. So you paste that in. There's two parameters here as part of this code. So one is the before image and one is the after image. So the before image is image path not nullable. The after image is a image path not nullable. And whatever these parameters are will be displayed kind of here. So that's what this is. So this is parameter. The width and height is kind of required. And then the ones that we've added is before image and after image. This here is before, after, and before image. This is that parameter. This is the other parameter. And if you come down here, this was a bit that kind of stumped me for a bit. And I don't actually know if I'm just missing something basic, but if you come down here, we've got like a before section and an after section. In the code from the Flutter package, it starts with before and then with after. But for some reason, when I run the app, they have the before image on the right-hand side and the after image on the left-hand side. So what I did was just swapped the before and after around. So all I did was, this was originally below, and I just typed it to after. And by doing that, it just kind of flipped the positioning of it, which is why if you look at here, it actually looks a bit funky because we've got after, but yet the widget is referring to the before image. So yeah, I'm probably missing something super basic, but if you look through this code and you're like, this is the after and then this is before, yeah, there was just some weird things around the positioning when I ran it. And so this code allows me to have the correct wording here. So before image is actually this variable here. The after image is this first list item from the JSON body. And when we run it, the before image is on the left-hand side and the after is on the right-hand side. But just in this custom logic, we just had to change this around, which I have no idea why. And then within this here, you can change, I've hard-coded in the color that I want to match that kind of pinky color here. So I've hard-coded in those colors there for the slider and the thumb decoration. So that's what this is. And I did some changes, I think, to this section, pretty sure, to ensure that the before image and after image are the same size. Otherwise, because with the upscaler, the AI model upscales the image. So if the before image was 500 pixels by 500 pixels, the after one, if you upscale it by 2x, would be 1,000 pixels by 1,000 pixels. By default, what would happen on this is you just have a before image which looks half the size of the after image. So you had to do some changes to make sure that they both are the same size when viewing it through. When you're viewing it through something like this. So yeah, this is the code. Sorry if I can't explain all the all the technically what is actually happening here, but ChatGPT helps. So that's that. Once you've got it in here, you need to save it and then you need to compile it. And then once that's saved, pretty much on here, you can go to your little widget, add an element, and that custom widget will be available there. And you just kind of just drag it into where you need it to be. And I'm pretty sure that's everything. So we've got the UI, we've explained, step through setting all of that up. We have created the API call on FlutterFlow. So when we make this API call, just to clarify again, that will trigger this workflow, and that will run the replicate model. That will return some information, which we will receive back here on FlutterFlow, and that information gets passed into this before after widget, image widget. And I think that's everything. So, and just one little detail, I've published this to the web, which is kind of what this is. So it just allows me to kind of do a demo without waiting for everything to load. But yeah, that's everything. So I'm going to do another version of this where there's kind of multiple tools on the sidebar here. So like maybe Upscaler, a denoiser, an enhancer, maybe a few other different things, having that all set up, setting up authentication, setting up so that you can save certain images, download certain images, and save that on the Supabase database. And then you can kind of view that by kind of clicking your profile, seeing the ones that you're favorited, these sorts of things. So that's will be for the next one. But thanks for listening. If I've missed anything, let me know in the comments, and I will try and explain or help through that, or add that to the next tutorial. Yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one.